Okay, think I am live now. So, welcome to if anyone's watching the replay when this is up. I hope you're doing well. And today, and it's funny, today's it kind of has something to do with today's topic. So today we're talking about positivity. What is too much? When is too much? Is there such thing as too much? And is it really something that can be harmful? And actually, just in my random uh, little floating around the internet, okay, so this kind of relates to what the topic we're going to speak about. Well, one of the Kardashians is, speaking of positivity, is now seemingly having an issue. And let's see if I can find the picture here. So this is kind of like the opposite of today's topic. So we're kind of talking about positivity today, and body positivity is certainly in that category. And so it apparently, and I actually did not realize this. So it's the Kardashian called Chloe. Chloe Kardashian apparently is the one. And so apparently she is in the habit of all of them, I guess, are in the habit of doing very, very Instagrammed, or very, very air polished or photoshopped photos of themselves, which I don't pay attention. But I guess it totally makes sense. So everything is very perfected. They're all about this very artificial, glamorous, perfect look, and apparently somehow a very unpolished picture of her got on Instagram or on some sort of social media, in which she looks fabulous, by the way. She looks amazing. I mean, this is a mom, keep in mind, you know what I mean? Like, she has given birth at least once, and she's in this little leopard print bikini, and she looks absolutely amazing. She looks absolutely amazing. And apparently I think this is the unpolished picture of her. But apparently her people who are responsible for touching up all of these photos are freaking out. They don't know how this unfinished, unglamorous picture of her got on the internet, and they are taking it down and threatening to sue anyone who has it up and blah blah blah. And it is just such an interesting thing to me, because it's just like, I feel like her reaction totally kind of missed a huge opportunity where, again, she looks amazing. She looks incredible. Her body is beautiful, and she is an absolute on a pedestal for moms everywhere. She's not a stick. She's not looking like this. She has a beautiful body, but it looks like a woman. It's attainable. What she looks like is attainable for if you work hard. And what she could have done instead was become a lightning rod for women to have a positive view of their bodies. And she instead went the other route and was like, "Oh shit, like, get that down. Like, I look like you guys. Oh, that's not good. I'm a mess. Get that down." I think that's a really bad message. It could have actually made her a very, very admirable person, and she could have just flowed with it and probably would have been the most popular Kardashian of all. Like, we need a normal Kardashian or a fun Kardashian. I think they're all kind of the same, and I don't really know a whole lot about them. They're not really my thing, but I always thought their image was sort of boring in that they all seem to have like the same sort of just super glamour, super perfect, and they all look the same to me. They all have the same sort of look. I would like them so much more if they, you know what I mean? Like, there was like a crazy Kardashian and like a sporty Kardashian, or like something, like they allowed more imperfection or more personality, you know what I mean? Like, instead of always being trying to be so perfect and so unattainable. And I think that it kind of ties into what we're talking about today, because it seems to be the opposite of positivity. More like, I don't want to look like you. You guys look a mess. Let me go fix myself so that I can look unattainably like inhumanly beautiful like I was. Okay, bye. So that I think that was interesting and kind of anti-positivity. So on to today's topic. We're talking about positivity instead of anti-positivity, which is really kind of what she seems to be all about. So positivity. I think we live in such an incredible time right now, where we are able to give voice to all of the variety of types of people, variety of personalities, variety of beauty, variety of body types. And it is a really exciting time because no matter what your, hey, so no matter what your type of body is, there is a voice for you. And we're opening up in our culture to like a more than just a stick sort of little niche that everyone has to fit into. We're finding that there's just so much welcomeness to all sorts of different types of people and all sorts of avenues. This isn't just body and positivity. It actually it also goes with personality, with different ways that people navigate life, with different ways that people just deal with issues, deal with problems, and react to different life triggers. We're starting to finally have the narrative that you're not broken. You're not, just because you don't handle things in a certain way or act in a certain way that's expected of you. It doesn't mean that you're hopeless. Doesn't mean that you're bad. Doesn't mean that all of these other things that in prior decades we were so quick to say, you're a mess, you're this, you're that, you need to be more like these people. So I think it's really an awesome time to really give everyone their due and just to really be welcoming and supportive of each other. And of course, there is this beautiful saying. I kind of know it as originated through Marissa Peer. She may or may not have been the original person to say this, but the saying, "You are enough," exactly as you are. And it is a very common, increasingly common mantra, common statement, common saying that we see everywhere. I love it. I embrace it. I'm actually coming out with a book soon. I reference a version of that. I'm actually in a Facebook group that I think has that as part of its name. And it is truly a powerful statement when you really, really absorb that and believe it, that you are enough, that there's really nothing that you have to fix. And it can provide incredible healing, an absolute healing, to really, really believe that and let that come into your soul. And, and at the same time, as this becomes increasingly popular and increasingly absorbed throughout our society, you start to see it being used more and more in certain aspects. And I'm also starting to see another sort of counter kind of pushback against it, where there's such positivity that a lot of people start to think that it can start to be harmful. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And if you had asked me a few years ago, is there too much positivity? Is there too much enoughness in our world? I would have said, hell no. Like, no, bring it on. Like, you can't slather it on thick enough. Everyone needs to feel that way. Everyone needs to accept that. And it's a beautiful, amazing thing. And the more I kind of, as I continue traveling into this bold new century that we have, I start to see some interesting things, and different people start to really, I guess, interpret that for themselves, what that means. And some of the meanings that people have come up with starts to have I started to look at it a little bit differently. And I kind of want to use it and compare that statement, "I am enough," the concept of positivity, to like water. All right. So water, for example, is an incredibly nutritious or life affirming element. All right. And we really can't live without it. We can't live without water. It is something that is so important to everything, to your body systems, to it being healthy, to it flushing itself out, to you living a nice age, to you being a beautiful person. Water is important. And it's really important that you get access to it, not just like once a day, but for ultimate, health from all over, multiple times a day. And at the same time, water in incredible amounts can also be destructive. And it can also, yeah, yes. And water is definitely life, yes. And it is absolutely, totally vitally important. But at the same time, so much water can actually start to have the opposite effect. And there have actually been famous cases where people have literally drank too much water and ended up killing themselves, that have actually given themselves harmful, physical ailments through it taking in too much water. And I bring that up because I say that even with something that is so important and so vital, in my opinion, I think it also is possible to kind of take it too far and to take it into a totally different hemisphere. You know what I mean? And positivity is one such thing that I do believe it can potentially be destructive. And one of the things that I would kind of compare it to as well is sometimes when we take on that sense of your being enough or being whole, do believe that though it is absolutely true, though there's absolutely has one absolute truth to it, what I personally caution against it is using that as a reason to not want to ever admit that you can do better, or to really not allow in an aspect of change. To me, I believe that we are here to always overcome challenge and to be able to change, to really transform our lives and to really do the best that we can. And because we are really, to me, just built for change. We're really wired for change. We're wired for evolution. We're wired to always transcend and always seek, higher versions of ourselves. To me, what that means is there can be a danger of kind of getting stuck. And I feel like a lot of times when people talk about toxic positivity, what they're actually referring to is not so much the positive part, but they're really referring to the inability to accept change, or the inability to admit to yourself or to anyone else that you can do better in a particular situation. And I think that's where the danger can come in. It's that stubbornness that says, yeah, I'm enough. Therefore, I am not going to change anything about myself, even when I know I'm probably could do a little bit better in this particular situation. And this can, of course, be in any category. It can be harmful to relationships, for example, when we say, because I'm enough, I'm not going to admit that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I am where I am, what I am, it is what it is, and moving on. I feel like that can actually be something that can be counter to our personal growth. And one thing too, I feel like I'm going to go back to body positivity again, because I believe that this is probably one of the most visceral examples. And this is probably the most blatant example out there. The most controversial example is always what we can see and always what we can latch onto. And some of the more controversial things that we see out there are related around health, and how a lot of times, especially because there's an amazing, amount of healthy body positivity that happens out there, that a lot of people feel as though we are starting to embrace a just whatever goes sort of sense. And even though you are certainly allowed to look and be however you want, there's a lot of concern around the health implications of that, and how it's always important to watch what watch yourself, watch your body, watch what you take in at all sizes. And this is something that really I find really interesting to see kind of the back and forth. And one of the I forgot to get her name, but she actually is a poster child for I forget her name. I'm not even going to be able to find it, but she is a model, and I think she is an Instagram model, and she's very obese. I think I think what people would probably call morbidly obese these days. Think I don't know. I can't remember how sizes, but she's a beautiful woman, and she pretty much was a lightning rod for a lot of things because she actually was on the cover probably a few years ago. I think of Cosmopolitan, I believe, and of course, like the whole everything exploded. And on one side, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing because she's such the opposite of who used to be on there all the time. The super skinnies, that or the very like perfect curvy girls. It's always one or the other. And she was none of that. She's totally different type of form. And it was people loved it. They absolutely loved it. And on the other side, there was a lot of concern, and I have to say this is also valid from health practitioners who are saying that a person who allows themselves to get that large and healthy could potentially be causing an example that could lead to a lot of health implications for people that are having a lot of weight, such as increased chances, of heart disease, of I don't even know what a lot of the other, illnesses that tend to skyrocket when you get past a certain level of body index. And I have to say, it was very interesting because I see both of these sides. And you look at something that like physical or health and that sort of thing, and you have to ask yourself, where does positivity sort of start to go past its place of being positive and start to also cause harm and cause other things. And to me, it always boils down to the question of, does your viewpoint allow you to think that you can do better? Does your viewpoint allow you to just sort of crystallize and just kind of set your mindset in amber and just make everyone else change around you while you stay exactly where you're at and don't do any better? And I think that's actually, to me, the tipping point of when positivity becomes toxic, or it's feeding your soul, and it can actually go the opposite way and start to poison and cause issues. So that is, to me, the point. So when you are, even though, and it's a delicate balance, I think, to say that you're enough, that, and to understand that you are exactly who you are, and you have the right to be who you are. You certainly have the right to do anything that you want, with your earth experience, your body. But I feel like to be the greatest versions of ourselves and to really be of the most service, change is needed and evolution is needed. And even though you are enough exactly as you are, even if you don't change a damn thing, can you do better? Can you always improve? Is there something that you can work on? And there's something that you can do to make yourself even better? Is there something even with your health that even if you aren't changing it for aesthetic reasons, could you do something to take care of yourself a little bit better so that you're here longer? So you're here to play with your children, to play with your grandchildren, so that you're able to move freely, dance freely, and just be comfortable and enjoy a long life here, so that you can continue to contribute to the earth. I feel like that's always an important question to ask. And to me, that really divides between good positivity and toxic bad positivity that can kind of poison everything. All right, so I want to pull just a super quick card, and I'll let this end. And I always just like to throw it to the cards and just see what the tarot has to say about the balance. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of like a balance between one and the other. Like, I think there's actually a tarot card called Temperance to me, which talks about the meeting ground between two extremes. And to me, that's kind of where we're talking about here. We don't want to be so into our own positivity that we think we can do no wrong and that it's everyone else's fault and we can't ever change. But we also don't want to be so strict and so stubborn and hard on ourselves that we are not able to feed our souls and be comfortable with who you are, warts and all. And it's definitely a balancing act and a flow and a back and forth. All right, so we have the world. This is one of my favorite decks here, which is the Darkwood Tarot. And this is one of my favorite cards in the tarot of all time. This is card 21 for the year 2021. It's one of my favorites. And this is a card of kind of what we just were talking about, basically, of being everything all at once. So this is definitely a you are enough answer. The world to me is all about how you have already everything within you that you need to have. But at the same time, the world is also an end of a cycle and the beginning of another cycle. So it always is talking about the flow and the flux and the cyclical nature of our lives and how we're always shedding. Our nature is, and to be shedding one thing so that we can start something else. And again, it's just an incredible dance. And this card even has her like sort of mid dance. Like it's a very flowy sort of energy to me. And it's just has a lot of things coming in and kind of going up. Yeah. And it's to me, again, it's both. It's saying that you are enough as you are. You already possess everything that you have. But at the same time, you know, you're never done. Like the world, even though it's the last card, is technically you're not done. Like it's not a card of, okay, that's it. Where's the locker room? I'm done. You know what I mean? Like it's always whenever you have achieved one thing, it's time now to achieve something else. You're always moving into another level. So it's an argument against being comfortable. And I think that is where you are. Now you have the right to stay and be comfortable as long as you want, you know, like, and that's the beauty to me of earthly existence is it's so complex and you can do whatever you want. You can find happiness in it. Absolutely. You can completely be like, Keisha, screw yourself. I'm just going to do exactly what I want to do. And that's okay. You're allowed to. But I think that our natures are such that flow and change and evolution and constant learning and constant improvement is part of who we are. I think that's how we operate the most. So that is it. I think that's what I wanted to pretty much say for this. And definitely change is an important aspect of me and what I do. And I definitely, I'll be coming out with a book about change very shortly, probably within about a month or so. May 11th, I hope to have it on Amazon. Definitely reach out. And if you want to attest an advanced copy and would like to give a review ahead of time, definitely reach out to me. You can comment here. You can reach me, Keisha, at newworldtarot.org. And definitely check out the website, www.newworldcoaching.org. And I have as well just a free, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get a free little gift as well of your choosing. So thank you very much for watching watching the replay, if you watch the replay, and we will see you in a bit and enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll talk to you next time and be blessed. Bye.